Got very troubling developments off the coast of Denmark, where, of course, the Nord Stream pipeline was just sabotaged, according to many official sources, as many people are saying that this was a deliberate sabotage of a major pipeline that provided Europe very crucial, important gas that it is extremely dependent on, since, of course, Europe decided to shoot itself in the foot and implement policies that, of course, destroyed domestic energy exploration and production. They wanted to be dependent on Russia for some reason in order to help the weather. Again, none of this absolutely makes sense when you look at the official policies that they have brought forward, especially when it comes to getting rid of their nuclear power plants. But what happened today signals very troubling times ahead for Europe that will be absolutely significant for the people living there. According to a Swedish National Seismology Center, they have measured what they're describing as a, quote, powerful subsea blast in areas where the Nord Stream gas pipeline from Russia to Europe off the coast of Denmark has specifically busted open. This as the Danish Prime Minister came out and just said moments ago that it's, quote, hard to imagine that the leaks detected on Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines were, quote, accidental, as of course both pipelines were affected. We were talking about the previous pipeline in yesterday's video and its larger implications and problems that it's going to bring to Europe. Now a second one. Even Denmark doesn't believe that this was an accident. And of course now we have the finger pointing as Ukraine is trying to blame Russia for this deliberate sabotage of Russian gas to Europe, which Europe was financing the Russian government with and also the Russian war effort with. Of course, the Russians are blaming Western governments for what is deemed a deliberate sabotage. And we have to understand, during previous global conflicts, undersea cables have been cut as a deliberate sabotage against opposing forces. This was specifically done in World War I, where undersea cables between Europe and the United States were cut. Is this somewhat of a deliberate sabotage? Well, who really knows? The Polish Prime Minister said, quote, that we faced an act of sabotage. And is it Russia behind this sabotage, or is it the West? Which, of course, everyone is asking themselves as new video has been resurfaced of the President of the United States literally going on record promising that, quote, there no longer will be a Nord Stream 2 and that, quote, we will bring an end to it. Listen to this exchange right now.
Let me answer the first question first. If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that exactly? Since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control.
We will, I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
Yeah, now, whoever is responsible, whatever you may think is really behind all of this, we still have to understand the consequences from this will be very vast. As of course, natural gas prices in Europe have soared dramatically, and with the rising price of energy, you will see the rising price of everything else in our society. As of course, energy price is usually correlated with economic prosperity and the well-being of human beings. You limit energy and you have the opposite effect of that, and you have more poverty, more suffering, and more hard life consequences for a lot of people in Europe now, as already the Russians were caught burning millions of dollars of natural gas in the atmosphere, as of course Europe was already cutting their supply to Russia, not buying their gas, their energy deliberately, which of course had a negative effect on its citizenry. Russia of course couldn't store the natural gas, so of course they had to burn it off. As we have to understand, the situation that we're facing right now is not a coincidence. It is not an accident. It is deliberate shortages, deliberate scarcity, which will create a large amount of havoc, pain, suffering, economic upheavals, which I do believe central bankers are looming in the way of, and on the heels of this tragedy will be using it for their own personal benefit to sweep up massive amounts of power and authority for themselves. I do believe, in my own personal opinion, that this is the end game here. You first must destroy a currency, destroy its value, destroy cash in order to bring in a new digital track, trace, carbon, social credit score that, of course, is a part of the World Economic Forum's vision of the future that you should be living with, of course, central controllers controlling every aspect of your existence. And that's something that I do not want. And if you agree, share this video with your friends and family members. It is more imperative than ever to get the word out about these specific videos.